Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss what Skandamata, the fifth day of Durga Puja, the Vayu air element of Anahata Chakra. Let's start with the divine declaration which has been made very clear in Sanatana Dharma from Ved, Upanishads right up to Holy Gita and maybe even in Akhand Vidyashram. Whenever they decline in Dharma, I take birth in Bharat to eliminate evil, unrighteousness and re-establish divine design of nature. And different stages have been done over different periods from the beginning till this and will continue even thereafter. And depending upon each era, the requirement for that person, that kind of a person will be born and do things systematically so the entire world can lead to Satya Yuga or the perfection day by day. In that connection, I see my birth from the very beginning till this through many stages of reincarnations, and that concept has been very clearly put into this picture, that how my Antaratma enters in my growing fetus at the 22 weeks of pregnancy and then transform my DNA and make me a perfect person in that particular era to become in tune with universal consciousness. And in that connection, I do see there's a creation of goddess Durga or Adi Prashakti as such long back. She was created by all the divine nature. There I make it clear, all the gods and goddesses which are there in Ved, Upanishads and other things, they all put together with that consciousness. Goddess Durga was created to eliminate all the evil or demons and free the three spheres of the universe, that is Bhumi, Antariksh and Akash, and the whole thing was done in Akash right at the universal level. And that particular concept, you can call it Goddess Durga, and she was depicted by our ancient Indian sages as a person with 18 arms. She had all the powers of all the atoms, elements, molecules, cells and other things. She has the perfection of the core and very clearly as such. So in that particular concept, I do see in the spirituality emerging of modern science or science as such. When I see science, I think of the truth, perfection, honesty, integrity, the way design of nature is done, not man-made concepts as such. So now I am going to talk about the perfection of the spirituality and spiritual of the science as a spiritual science to understand how we can integrate both and understand the modern era of education, perfection, research and publication the best possible way, and that's why Akhand Vidyashram is only for impeccable wisdom. Now come to the question of seeing the bridge. And I do believe periodic table is as spiritual science as you can ever dream of. Hats off to the scientists who created periodic table, and in this particular picture you can see there are 7 periods which show that everything is made of 7 parts. Brahma made 7 dishes, everything is 7 parts, that is divine mathematics answer, that is one thing very clear. Second thing, it come to the classification, there are 18 groups. And you can see the 18 groups there, and that is what Durga is. And same thing is Adi Prashakti also with 18 arms. Let that be clear. But now in this particular picture, there is another thing which I am making it very clear. There are 3 groups in this. The first line, hydrogen and helium, has got only 2. The second has got 10. And the third one put together becomes to 18. 2, 10 and 18 are the 3 levels of this, and it further goes on to 36, 54 etc. further higher and higher. We will get into that detail when we come to the state. But at this particular, as a soul, it is Aditi in the first concept, goddess Gayatri in the second thing, and Durga in the third one. Let's put it this way, 2, 10 and 18. And also this picture of shown that size of an atom reduces as it goes to the right side, and also increases, it can come down. That is again a beauty of modern science, to show how size reduces, why it reduces and why increases in this form. I am going to explain to you as we go on further. We have already done, maybe after Vijayadashmi, new things will be much more explicit step by step. Now come to the question of Goddess Durga was created, and she, after finishing the work of finishing all the asuras, are not in tune with universal consciousness. And I am talking about my perception and conviction. All the divinity which has against the nature, or the people who are against the nature, were asuras, they were killed. Whereas all the good people, suras, divine, they were protected, shielded as such. At that particular stage, Goddess Durga decided to dissolve her divine form of Agni. Why? To be born again for spiritual science practice for the next stage. But that is the life of sin. Every god and goddess is nothing but enlightened human beings as such. When after death they take birth and then understand things concept. In that perception, I see Goddess Durga dissolved and took a new birth as Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari and moved on from there to come to Trikuta mountain. That's it. And this is a picture you see Kanyakumari at the bottom. Three oceans put together, Arabian Sea, Bengal and Indian Ocean, and from there she moves on to Trikuta mountain, where she is there at this given moment, meditating to reach a different level. We are going to explain that. Now, Trikuta mountain, which I do believe there are three mountains, and I took birth in that place very clearly, that one mountain is Lord Brahma's, second is Vishnu, third is Shiva. Put together only there is a trinity, which is the core of Sanatana Dharma. And in mathematical design, I see 22 by 21 as a Brahma, 10 Dasavatar are Vishnu, 0.344 Panchabhuta of Shiva. Then these three put together in that mathematical design equal to the stage of 1.6, which represent length and breadth. 1 into 1.618 is the length and breadth. I think that's the divine mathematics with which the perfection at every stage is used. I think that is the knowledge. Then come to the computer. Inside there is a cave, and in the cave you can see three stone images or pindis. Mahasaraswati, which is consort of Brahma as the goddess of knowledge. Mahalakshmi, the consort of Vishnu as the wealth as such. Mahakali, the consort of Lord Shiva as a moksha. So other knowledge is important, wealth is important, and freedom from constraints or restraints are important. That's how I see Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and Dattatreya in that, are Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali and Durga in that percept, are Mata Vaishno Devi. Once these things, the 8 things are known, only then you understand the core of Sanatana Dharma and core of Ved, Upanishads, and also the modern science and entire universe as such. No wonder whatever is in the universe is presented within the human body, and that's what I'm trying to show, how perfect is the human being, how it was created over a period. Now come to the question of first occult science exposure which I had by seeing Mata Vaishno Devi statue as such in Mata Vaishno Devi cave, which represent, like Shiva, 3 pindis of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, and the statue of 5.5 feet. This particular concept is very clear there, that I knew she is taken birth as a human being of 5.5 feet, sitting there meditating to reach to next level. What it is, let's understand that. Now, Goddess Durga, as you can see with 8 arms, she is the Agni element, and how she has gone through the 10 stages or 10 Mahavidyas, we are going to understand that concept very clearly through Dasa Mahavidyas as well as 10 days of Goddess Durga Puja. Now, in this particular picture, you can see Mata Vaishno Devi picture which I have in my home represents that. She is the incarnate Goddess Durga, agree. She has got 8 arms, man. That means according to periodic table, it should be oxygen only, 8 electrons, 8 protons. She is meditating to become Goddess Gayatri with 10 arms, or you go to neon element. And this is the picture which I say goddess with the 10 electrons. From 8 she is going to go to 10, and she has already got Aditi within her, and then she has come to that stage, and now she is going to go to Gayatri level. That's why she is there. And you have a 10 protons, 11 electrons and 10 electrons. That way the 10 plus 11 plus 10 is equal to 31 divided by 3 is equivalent to 10.344. That is the stages of development. This is what science. I have also gone and say before universe was created there was neon 21 which collided to form neon 22, and then 10 stages it has come to this stage. I think this is where the science shows how it was created and how we are moving on. Now come to the question of the goddess Shailputri is Himalayan ice. She is a daughter of Himalaya. Himalaya is known for ice, that is a solid form of water, or Amrit. She represents first Mahavidya, knowledge. The first thing we should understand is solid element, which is a matter of atoms, element as such. Those two things are equivalent to 38.196% of Divyank is the first thing which I learnt, and that is what Shailputri is, that is what ice is, gross form of Amrit. Then this is a picture I am showing that she represents only that is the core with which from where we start. All things we get from atoms and elements only. Then come to the question of Muladhara is a particular basic structure right in the pelvic region. Muladhara is first chakra, and the phonetic sword is Lam, and there are 4 petals. Same thing I have shown from Satchakra Nirupana picture, ancient book of 1000 years old. Then Akhand Sutra's picture as well as modern science picture is very clear that at every stage it is a modern science which is clearly displayed. Then come to the question of Brahmachari is the second thing, second day of Durga Puja. She represents the water element of Amrit. That is atoms of the element. This is the water of the element, the molecule form, which has a fluid form. That is immobilized, this is mobilized. This can take the shape of the object with which water is maintained. And that is the picture you are seeing in this. And that is where Brahmachari, a great character, is, who is full of abundance of divine energy within her, and with that she moves on. And that's the beauty seen in Swadhisthana Chakra to prove that it produces testosterone, which is converted into estriol in males, but women are born with estriol altered, and no wonder they are in the brain. Where men start from down, men have to understand. That's why we men need the assistance of females to merge together, reach higher and higher level of consciousness. That is what Chakra Nirupana all about, and that is Tantra Vidya all about. And in this particular picture you can see Lam of 4, Vam of 6 as such, and all the picture and also the mathematical neuroscience as such to show how testosterone is important for OJs to get muscles, RBC, oxygen, etc. And also this is also converted into Tejas, intelligence, buddhi and otherwise only from testosterone, nothing other than that. So important is you should be a perfect human being, perfect female with abundance of Ojas and Tejas in the form of testosterone or estrogen or estradiol. And this is picture is again same thing which I am showing, and this is a picture which I have made, and this is a picture which I am showing when Ojas is there, testosterone is converted emanates estradiol, it moves through the Sushumna Nadi, within that is Vani Nadi. When it goes to the Vani Nadi, it surrounds the brain and spinal cord so clearly that it will literally become a perfectly strong physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, otherwise, and that is what MACE is all about. That's how you understand internalization of the consciousness thereafter, and that is what Satchakra Nirupana is talking about. Then come to the third stage of Chandragupta, the third day of Durga Puja, and it is Agni element. First is the solid element, then is the water element, third is the fire element, and that is what oxygen comes to play a role. And then particular stage you come to the stage that you're going to go higher and higher, and how you're going to get oxygen and all molecular forms together to make human body perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. And in this particular concept, the energy which comes is from Nabhi chakra, which is the third adrenal gland, is a center of emergency. And this particular, any person who's focused on that completely would have the power of 10. The blood from the system gets into the adrenal gland through the outer, and where cholesterol with carbon 27 is converted into mineralocorticoids, steroid first, and then to glucocorticoid, steroids, and then androgens, and then goes inside to produce sympathomimetic hormone. Once this particular thing is very clear in the third stage, only then you will be saved come what may. Any accident, otherwise you are well taken care of. I have already explained that before. This is a picture which I have shown. I have already, you can go through the picture once again. Then come to the question of fourth is Kushmanda, the fourth day of Durga Puja. The science of Manipura chakra comes. First, energy inside the body. Now the energy from outside to inside comes. All the food which we need, we get from the market through the skeletal muscles, then digestion with skeletal, smooth muscles, and distribution with cardiac muscles. And this combination is the science of Manipura chakra, where food is converted. And in this particular picture you can see this is digestion of nutrition, water, nutrients, electrolytes, proteins, etc., 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 which are essential for homeostasis. Is the fourth stage. Unfortunately, Satchakra Nirupana does not talk of Manipura, but I do believe it's very clear, because mathematically it's much more clearer, because when come to the Muladhara chakra, it is a coccyx bone. When come to Swadhisthana, it is sacrum. When it comes to Nabhi, it is lumbar. So what in Manipura is the 6 lower components of the thoracic, from which celiac plexus comes, and digestion is associated with that. I think that was defined to do, and it has got only 12 petals. You can see the picture very clearly. And in that we have shown that it is sun rays. Another thing, how it is done, that particular thing is done, and you understand this is a combination for keeping perfection of glucose, water, homeostasis, for everything is clear with Manipura chakra supply. Sustenance is by Manipura chakra. And this is what I have shown, how perfect the glucose homeostasis is taken care with water, and keeping at 111 is the ideal thing. If you have, you will not have any problem at all. And that is what is adrenal gland also talking about, glucocorticoid. The combination of glucose within the blood should be average 111 milligram. Now come to the stage of discussion for today's Skandamata. Skand means 6, that is Kartikeyan. That's the 5th day of Durga Puja. And now first we started with solid element of matter, then water, then Agni. Now we are coming to the 4th stage of Vayu or air element, where Anahata chakra is talking about air element. We have finished the solid matter, we have the water, we have the energy. Now we need oxygen as such to the 4th level to go on to higher levels of consciousness. See, this is how you learn spiritual science. And this particular picture, Anahata, you can see the center is in the heart, the Satchakra, this, and also the Askar endocrine gland, it is the thymus, and thymus is absolutely essential for giving you cell-mediated immunity. And who can maintain thymus throughout the life would not have any deficiency, and I can tell you, modern science might say it deteriorates. A person who is leading a perfectly healthy, wealthy life, perfectly vegetarian, no alcohol, no drugs, nothing at all, is taking care, letting the body remain young throughout, would have a thymus producing cell mediated immunity even at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 plus plus plus. It will never disappear. And I think that is what I am trying to show, and that is what Gauda Dasa taught me. This is Mahavidya at that particular stage at the 5th level. Now I have given this picture how this is upper 6th thoracic stage is with air element. Lower 6th thoracic is what? digestion of water molecules. See now how slowly we are moving up to higher levels, how the system is designed. And once this is understood, I think very clear. That Manipura chakra also has 12 and Anahata also 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. The same thing you can see in the picture there. There I had shown only 12, but here you can see 10, 12, 24, 48, 96 and thereafter all are centered in the heart alone. I think once that is understood, I think we can move on very well to the next stage of concentration or contemplation. Now come to the question of understanding Skandamata. She is the divine mother of six-head Kartikeyan. And in this picture you can see she is holding Kartikeyan in the hand and she's got 6 hands. That is where the creation of the human being comes up with a perfect 6th level. And this is what Satchakra is talking about, only 6 chakras, 6 goddesses and 6th head is Kartikeyan, and in Satchakra it is 6th lady female, I think put together. But here also you see the next stage from elements, molecules to compounds. Now how the oxygen is created thereafter through photosynthesis. From mineral kingdom you are going to get to plant kingdom and then understand how oxygen is produced, how it is essential and go on. And you see the higher up we are going up. Now you see I am making one statement very clear. There are 4 inner planets of the sun, solar system. Mercury, which is closest to sun, then Venus, then Earth and then Mars. These are 4 things which are clear in that from sun. If you say left is sun, then Mercury, then Venus, then Earth and then Mars, this is the ratio. And all the 4 of them to start with had 97% carbon dioxide. So that means product made in the molecule form for divine nature was carbon dioxide. And it's very interesting to say, carbon dioxide has got 22 protons, carbon 6 and oxygen 16. 6 and 16 is 22 is again Divyang's first product itself is that. Plant use carbon dioxide from earth and water and convert into oxygen as such and carbohydrate. And this is interesting again. What was 97% carbon dioxide has become 21% oxygen, which is again Divyang. Whether nitrogen is 78, which is carbon plus hydrogen put together for the next stage of protein formation. Whereas carbohydrate, water can give you carbohydrates and lipids. For protein you will need nitrogen. The nitrogen was produced at that stage with photosynthesis. I think that's an amazing kind of spirituality and science bringing universal oneness to the world, and that is what I want everybody to understand, not confused with the knowledge is available today. Now come to the question of photosynthesis. You can see sun on top, you can see the tree and you can see the earth, and you can see the earth with water. And this is the combination of photosynthesis, synthesis, carbohydrates, and I would say even to go to the lipid is the second stage of carbohydrates. We will talk about it as we come to the later stage. Now you see the sunlight is there, is given light, then water from the earth is coming, and then carbon dioxide is from the atmosphere, and oxygen, carbon dioxide is converted into sugar and glucose on the right side. Left side is the input, right side is the output, and down is the water and minerals, etc. I think that's beautiful from mineral kingdom to the plant kingdom with the sun, and if without the sun there cannot be thing. So without sun, without water, without minerals, without plants, things, and plants also developed, where I make it very clear. They are started as spores and then went on to form fruits and seeds, and then further became a sexual reproduction. But before it was asexual reproduction, and how it was we are going to see much more as we go on. But this is where things come very clear. So plant kingdom, atom, element, molecules, compounds, cells, tissues, organs, we can experience everything of the universal consciousness which is talked about Vedas and Upanishads within the human body as such. Our body is also to design in such a way that externally to the plant there is a cellular respiration within the body to keep the balance as such. We work in tune with universal consciousness to keep things systematically clear. Now come to the green pigment is there in plants, and within that you can produce oxygen as such and also carbohydrates. Now you see this particular picture of photosynthesis I am showing. You can see the left half as the right half. You see the left half, this water is coming from top, the light is coming, that light reaction, and this is the water component which gives you oxygen. Oxygen comes from water only. Let that be clear, and you have water, light reaction, what this in oxygen, this is left side, and also it produces ATP and NADH. That's one part. There is a second part in photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide is taken, goes to Calvin cycle to produce glucose, and also produces ADP, or use the next NAD. Let's put it that way. Once that is done, I think this is how the beautiful design of nature is in photosynthesis within the plant kingdom as such. Now come to the question, again something very interesting to say. Early morning, there is ultraviolet sunlight, and ultraviolet sunlight in the morning, that's what we do puja. There is more of oxygen production in the plant in the morning, not during the daytime, but evening when the infrared light of sun produces oxygen again. So that's a wonderful thing. Ultraviolet, which I call as the Gayatri, as the Brahmani, and infrared at the evening as Rudra Gayatri. These are the two produce oxygen. Rest of the time oxygen is not there. If that's understood, that you understand very clearly how 7 colors are made, why red and blue are more important, why sun, sea, water, as well ocean, that sky looks blue. But at the time of sunset, you see the atmosphere turns into red color. Ultraviolet in the morning as well as this is a beautiful thing. That is the kind of science which I want everybody to understand. Now come to the question of main oxygen. Oxygen is produced by plants and we have to absorb. And that is the prana. This soul anahata is into divine breathing. In the process of divine breathing, I make it very clear, you absorb 100% oxygen from the atmosphere. And again, at cellular level in Chennai and at alveolar level, it is Devyank again. But how oxygen is consumed in the body and converted into carbon dioxide, and in the expulsion, it is only 61.8034% of carbon dioxide is expelled, remaining is retained. And retained for what? One, to produce hydrochloric acid in the stomach as that, and also alkaline medium in pancreas for small intestines. I think once that is understood, you see how beautiful is nature design. There is nothing to feel bad, and every student from beginning to the end should know this very clearly. Now I have given the misconception very clear, you can read about it. Now the whole design of the respiratory system is designed with Devyank alone. Even the nervous system inside, which controls the breathing in and out, is also Devyank. That is active. Inspiration is 38.196% and expiration is 61.80, is so beautifully done. So inspiration, expiration, everything so beautifully done, provided you understand the core value completely. And having done that, I think we come to the stage, we are going to move on to the stage that in Anahata Chakra, it is oxygen, Vayu element which is coming, and the Vayu element step by step brings how Devyanki is getting established in structure as well as function in neuroanatomy, neurofunction, everything is only that. Once that is done, that we can understand the 5th level of Goddess Durga's Puja again very clearly. Now coming to this stage, I am not going to talk about it, but you can see all the 5 chakras here, Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Nabhi, Manipura and Anahata as such. And 5 we have finished the 5 days, and with that we will go to the stage from solid element matter to water to Agni to Vayu. 4 we have completed within 5. Next we are going to go further and see how we are going to see the next stage of 6th day of Durga Puja tomorrow. So thank you very much.